Commissioners on July 14th, 2021. And the first order of business is the public statement. Could you please read that, Commissioner Givens?
Gladly. We, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, renew our commitment to welcome and protect the rights of all people, regardless of age, race, color, creed, disability, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, marital status, economic status, and national origin. And we affirm the right of every person to live peacefully and without fear, and we will fight and resist at every step discrimination and harmful policies, whatever their source. We also stand in support of our county public school systems, both RBB and MCCSC.
Thank you. And the next order of business is department updates. Ms. Cottle, do you have an update from Health?
I do. Thank you for having me again this morning. As on Wednesdays, we always look at that metrics map to see where we are. Our cases per 100,000 this week have inched up again. They will be in the upper 30s. Our positivity rate is over 3%, but we are still in a blue advisory, and hopefully those numbers will begin to come down soon. In Indiana, in terms of variants, we do continue to see those occur. 63% of the samples that have been looked at and tested for variants are positive for those variants. So of all the samples taken, 63% of those have been variants. So we have all the variants circulating in Indiana, and certainly Delta is growing, and that is our major concern right now because it is much easier to transmit that from one person to another. We're seeing that be responsible for increases in hospitalizations throughout the country. So again, vaccination is the key to all of that. Our vaccines remain effective against the current variants that we have, and that high vaccination rates will also reduce the amount of variants and mutations that may occur. In Indiana, just under 50% of Hoosiers are fully vaccinated. The state has broken that down a little bit. Over 52% of those who are 16 and over have been fully vaccinated, and over 53% of those 18 and over. So those under 16, that 12 to 16-year-old is where we need the most work to be done yet. But certainly they've also been eligible for vaccine the least amount of time, and does require their parents to be involved and take them to be vaccinated. That we're seeing that in our county as well, that's probably the least vaccinated group at this point. Yesterday, we were at 55.9% fully vaccinated. So I encourage everybody, keep inching those numbers up. We've kind of slowed down on the percentage increase that we're seeing. So we want that, we want to reach 60% as soon as we can and continue that growth from there. All of our zip codes, all the major zip codes at this point are at 50% or more. Some are in that upper 60s, I think 68 point something percent. We do have some small zip code areas, and the numbers may be a little lower in some of those areas, but some of those numbers are also suppressed just due to the small number of residents in those areas. With the infections still circulating and many people unvaccinated, we know that testing remains extremely important. The Morton Street site is open through July for anyone needing testing. And there are also other places in our community, providers' offices, many other opportunities to be tested if you need to be. And you can go to the state's website for testing and see a map of Indiana with all the various testing locations. School will be starting soon. I know it feels like summer just started, but school will be starting soon. Vaccinations, again, are extremely important. So if you have not yet been vaccinated and you're eligible, your child has not been vaccinated yet and they're eligible, please go ahead and start that process now. We do recommend, and the CDC recommends, masks be worn indoors for anybody over 2 years old until they are fully vaccinated. In terms of the homebound program, Indiana has vaccinated over 2,600 Hoosiers through the homebound program, and we have done about 150 here in Monroe County. So that program does continue. If you know someone who is homebound, they have not yet been vaccinated, the process is still right now to contact Area 10 on Aging. They will get them squared away with that, and we will make sure that we get them vaccinated. As far as breakthrough cases, still 98.5% of all the cases in Indiana are among unvaccinated. While breakthrough cases do occur, the majority of infection isn't occurring in people who are unvaccinated. So let's get vaccinated. Let's finish this out. Let's beat the pandemic and raise those vaccination numbers. And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you. Commissioner Givens, do you have any comments, questions?
I just want to report that a friend of mine, her daughter turned 12 yesterday, and for her birthday, what she asked for was to get vaccinated. I love that kind of an attitude. I think I also saw that of those who have died from COVID, something like 99.5% are unvaccinated. And so it's more than just who gets it, it's who dies. And that's a really sad kind of situation.
Absolutely. When you look at the number, for instance, of even breakthrough cases, it's extremely rare. But yes, when we look at our hospitalizations and deaths, it is those who are unvaccinated.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully people will take this very seriously and get out and get vaccinated, get your children who are over 12 vaccinated. It's the only way we're ever really going to get control over this situation. So it's truly very important. Thank you. And next we have Ms. Allison Moore from Emergency Management.
Good morning, commissioners. Thanks so much for having me this morning. I have about 3 things I'd like to report, and we'll start with those blood drives that I announce every week. We had a successful blood drive yesterday. All of our spots were filled. I'll start with thanking the Monroe County Convention Center for hosting those drives for us. I know as things have started to open back up in regards to COVID, they have continued to allow us to have a few days every month so far, and we have been very grateful for that. And so we want to extend that thankfulness to them. We have a drive scheduled tomorrow, July 15th, and it is our evening drive. So it is from 2 to 7. And then we have 2 drives that are scheduled that have lots of availability still in August, and they are August 26th and 27th. So we do have the entire month to get those drives filled, but we encourage any individual that can make that donation to go to the redcross.org website and select a time frame that works best for you. Both of those drives this August, these August drives are a little different. We are going to have both drives open from 1 to 7. So both are what we would consider evening drives, but they are starting just a little bit earlier than our normal evening drives. And that was just a scheduling conflict with the convention center, but still able to get 2 drives in there for August. As I mentioned earlier in July, July is Extreme Heat Safety Month. And so I've not hit that extreme. In fact, these last few days have been a little bit nice for us, but that is going to turn and we are going to get a little warmer. We don't anticipate having to open our cooling stations yet, but we are continuing to monitor the weather throughout July and August until we get into those fall months, and we will open those cooling stations if in fact that's something that is needed. But I encourage you to use precautions as it does get warmer. Stay in an air-conditioned place. Make sure you stay hydrated and drink lots of fluids. Make sure you take care of your small children and, of course, the elderly as things continue to heat up. And now I'd like to start having a little bit of discussion on the June 18 floods. I know these last few meetings, that's been our hot topic from the Emergency Management Department. We continue to get questions on what to do and what options individuals have. Today, I have with me the Public Affairs Specialist through the Small Business Administration, Julie Garrett. She's going to take a moment and talk about what's been happening at the Convention Center in regards to the Small Business Administration that is here for federal assistance in Monroe County. And that way she can go over what's happening and what's available. So I will hand it over to her, and then we can do overall questions in regards to emergency management. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Allison. My name is Julie Garrett. I work out of the Atlanta office of the Office of Disaster Assistance for the SBA. So a common misperception because of our name, U.S. Small Business Administration, is that we just do disaster loans for businesses. But in fact, we help homeowners, renters, nonprofit organizations, and businesses of all sizes. As you're aware, we have a disaster loan outreach center open this week. It's open through Friday at 5 p.m. It's at the Monroe County Convention Center on College Avenue. And that is open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. So far, as of close of business yesterday, we had assisted 42 sets of survivors, and that includes households for that includes households of renters and homeowners and also businesses. As of close of business yesterday, we have approved already 4 loans for households and renters for a total of $186,900. And we have in process 6 business loans and 33 other home loans right now that we're working on. I don't know how much you want me to go into detail about the program and what's available, so I feel like I should stop and let you ask questions. I don't want to take up your time if you've already read our materials and are well aware of everything. I have asked for a report in detail for Monroe County, and I will send that to you by email as soon as I get it, so that we know exactly how many applications have come in from your county specifically.
Thank you, Ms. Garrett. Commissioner Gibbons, do you have any questions or comments about this?
Well, I understand that one has to be turned down by the SBA before one's eligible for possible FEMA funding. And so could you let us know what your guidelines are for qualifying for an SBA loan?
I'm not sure if it's FEMA funding or funding through the state. Allison would be able to explain that, but we don't have specific credit, requirements that we give out publicly. We are, SBA disaster loans are easier to qualify for than when you go to a loan from a commercial bank, but we still do look at people's credit to see if they routinely pay their bills, and we look at their income. And we don't release those requirements out to the public because we don't want to discourage anybody from trying to apply for a disaster loan.
Thank you.
And then Commissioner Gibbons, just to piggyback on that a little bit, if an individual does not qualify for an SBA loan, then they have an opportunity to fill out an application through the Indiana Department of Homeland Security for the Indiana Disaster Relief Fund.
Thank you.
And then, but we encourage anyone to go and try and see if they qualify, because then they would have that opportunity to meet with Homeland Security on the Indiana side if they don't qualify, and then of course to get assistance through SBA if they do.
Yes, and the sooner people apply, the faster we can help them. They don't have to wait for their insurance settlement to apply. They can put the application in now, and there is no pressure to accept a loan, and there's no cost to apply and no fees or points or anything like that associated with these loans. There's also an 18-month payment deferment right now due to COVID. So all new disaster loans automatically have an 18-month payment deferment to help people who might have been impacted by unemployment during the pandemic.
And then
Thank
just
you.
lastly, I'll add that all of this information that was given today in regards to the June 18th/19 flood is on the emergency management page and also in the breaking news section on our homepage at co.monroe.in.us.
Thank you, Ms. Moore and Ms. Garrett. That's very good information for our community, and I hope people are going to take advantage of it. It can make a big difference.
Yes.
Um,
I'm sorry. One thing I want to emphasize is even though the center closes Friday at 5 p.m., people have until September 7th to put in a disaster loan application. They can do that online at sba.gov/disaster. They can call our 800 number at 800-659-2955 for assistance over the phone. And they can also ask for help. We can have somebody call them and talk them through their application. That is a service that is also available.
Thank you.
Would you put that in the chat?
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, both of you. And as I say, I hope people will be taking advantage of this. And it looks like Ms. Ridge is not with us today. Are there any other department head updates? Raise your hand if you have one. I do not see anyone. So we will move on to public comment, which is for items which are not on the agenda. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes, and after 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you will hear this tone, which will indicate that you have 30 seconds to wind up what you have to say. And if you would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. You'll find that at the bottom of your screen. And
There's one, D. Robertson.
yes, please. D. Robertson, if you could unmute yourself.
They have since lowered their hand, so
Oh, okay.
appears they don't actually want to talk.
Okay, great. And there's no one else?
That is correct.
All right, well, thank you. Then we will move on to item number 5, Commissioner Givens.
Move approval of the minutes from June 30th, 2021 and July 7th, 2021.
Second, and Mr. Cockrell, would you please call the roll?
All right, I thought I was unmuted. Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
motion is approved 2-0.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Move approval of the claims docket, accounts payable July 14th, 2021, and payroll July 16th, 2021.
Welcome, Mr. Miller. Would
Morning,
you like to
Commissioners.
fill us in on the claims, please?
Of course. The total was, give me one moment. Total was $5,960,996.65. $3,778,001.65 was for lit distribution. For July, $788,266.06 was specifically for public safety lit. $1,262,730 was for full-time self-insurance quarterly. And finally, $257,635.66 was for wheel and surtax distribution for May. As far as payroll, the total was $1,766,741.26. Approximately 65% were for direct costs, and the remaining approximately 35% were for the indirect costs.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, Commissioner Givens?
No, it's always laid out pretty nicely, so thank you.
Thank you.
And is there any public comment on this item?
There are no hands raised.
Thank you. Mr. Cockrell, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 2-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have no new business today. This is going to be a very short meeting. No appointments. And for announcements, we are accepting applications, for boards and commissions. You can find the application information on the front of the website, which is co.monroe.in.us. And we are particularly looking for someone who's interested in drainage right now. So if you are interested in any of these boards and commissions, please put in an application. It's a very good way to get involved in local government. And our next meeting will be, I'm not sure when. Sorry.
I thought we were going to go just straight into the work session.
I
meant July 21st, I think.
Thank you. Thank you. The next meeting of the Board of Commissioners will be on July 21st. Thank you. And this meeting is now adjourned.